Good evening. I'm Minister Louis J. Armstrong, and I'm with Cross Rock Incorporated. And we have a good lecture for you today, and I'd like you to listen in because this is a very important lecture. I'd like you to have yourself and your friends watch this lecture because it's extremely important. Okay? Thank you. This lecture is entitled Great Civil War and World War III in America, 2019 to 2020. The reason I write these dates, before I had 2018 to 2020. Sometime I'll put it, sometime I'll just do it this way. 2019 to 2020, because we're in 2020 right now. The Great Civil War, then World War III in America. This is important to see. Now, is I'm saying I want this to occur? No. I don't want this to occur, but this is where we're going. This is part of the prophecy in the book. In this book, which I need you to get this book and this one. This book is entitled Judgment of America, and the other one is entitled Black Nostradamus, Prophecy of America's Future by Louis Jerome Armstrong. That's myself. Okay? You can order these books at Barnes & Noble. You can pull them up on your phone. You get them at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and many other. And you can go directly to Author House, the publisher of this book, and you could call 1-800-839-8640, and you could get in touch with them and order this book right away. And you'll have to go through Amazon if you choose not to. Okay? But the book is all on the website. You can see it everywhere. Just pull up Louis Jerome Armstrong author and it'll bring it up. Or you can pull up Louis Jerome Armstrong, Black Nostradamus, Prophet of American Future. That one will come up. Or Louis Jerome Armstrong, Judgment of America. And it'll come up. And it's good to get these books because I'm going to lecture on all of these chapters in this book. And you need the lecture with the book in order to have a more clear understanding. You know, you could get the book, but when you hear the lecture with the book, it's going to broaden your horizon, it's going to broaden your view on what it's really saying. Now, this is a revelation that was given to me out of the Bible. This is a very important book for this lecture. We need to understand this Bible other than what we have learned in the churches. Okay, the churches took you far as they could go. Okay, took you far as they go. We're in another dimension of thought now and how we need to see this book and how we need to understand this book. I say over and over again, this book carried the history and the prophecies of North America. You're going to see 95.5% or more of the events that talk in this book is about North America, our nation. King James sent this book, the King James Version, he sent this book to North America, to America. This book was not sent to Australia. This book was not sent even to parts of England over there. It was not sent to many other countries. It was sent to this nation. And you need to get that. You need to understand that. Everything in this book is going to be showing you things or events that's going to take place in this nation. If you hear them talk about Israel, it's talking about this nation. If you're talking about Assyria, you're talking about this nation. They talk about Babylon, you're talking about this nation. You're talking about Egypt, you're talking about this nation. Very rare you're going to see it talk about any other nation because this book is an esoteric writing. This book needs to be understood. You need to know the content, you need to know the text, and you need to know the subtext. It's crucially important to know these things. Now, we're going to get into this because this lecture comes from the first chapter of this book. Now, this book was written in 2006. It's a book that shows you history. It'll show you history repeating itself. It'll show you various prophecies, like if you went in and watched that lecture 3 lectures ago, you'll find out that they're talking about the great Exodus and the fall of America. And you're going to see that one is going to show you some things that you're going to be shocked to see because you're going to see how the prophecies have been laid out in a chart in this book. Okay, but this one is about America and Assyria, the similarities. And why is this important? Why is this so important? Okay, Jesus, this writing about this lecture, or this writing about this prophecy, come under the teaching of Jesus out of the book of Luke. And in that, now we got to understand that the initiates speaks for the characters of the Bible. The initiate speaks for the character of the Bible. Now, we need to understand that. Initiates write for other initiates to translate. They do not write for the common person to translate the Bible. And I know people want to say, well, I know how to read, I know how to study, and who are you talking about? Tell me. People, these books is esoteric writing. Amen. They done told you over and over that these books are in code. The Bible's in code. You hear it? You heard it on the 700 Club. You heard it on many other, seeing some of the other Christian channels. They were saying that about 15 years ago or so. They were saying it all the time. The Bible's in code. The Bible's in code. Then you have the Jewish guy with his computer. He's talking about how he can break some of the codes, etc. You cannot break the codes like that. You got to be initiates, and you got to know the esoteric writing. You got to know how to go into a mythology, into the myth, and you got to be able to bring the truthism out of it, that they could be able to understand what it's really saying. And that's what this is all about. Now, let's go on into this. Now, we're going to find out that Jesus is going to say something. And at the time, you see in Luke 11:30, for as Jonah was a sign unto the Ninevites, so shall also the Son of Man be to this generation. Now, what formed around Jesus talking about this? Jesus said in that chapter, he said, this is an evil generation. He said, they seeketh a sign, but there'll be no sign given to them but the sign of Jonah the prophet. For as Jonah was a sign unto the Ninevites, so shall the Son of Man be to this generation. Now, most people, when they read that in Luke, and they'll think that Jesus was talking about him, his time, and etc. And I hear many ministers, some of them on the internet, be talking about, Jesus said, Jesus thought that he was going to form the kingdom in his time and his day. No, Jesus ain't think that, because who told you Jesus came back then? Huh? Who told you that? See, we get into the Pauline doctrine and we don't know what's really going on, and we don't know the manipulation that have been done in the scripture now. Come on now. Let's be realistic with this. Now, is that saying that there has never been a person named Jesus? I wouldn't say named Jesus, but carry that consciousness, that type of person. He never exists. Truly, he exists. Like, if you go back and study the Bible before Constantine time, you had the Synostics. They always sees Jesus as someone that exists in the heavens, that could communicate with mankind. They did not see Jesus coming to earth. Now, I know this is going to bother some people, but hey, I got to teach you the truthism, because I'm going to show you something in a few minutes. So I'm not going to sit there and lie to you and make you think certain this and that and that. Now, did I do that keep Jesus from being real? No, it don't keep Jesus from being real. Do that keep Jesus from being someone that's connected to your salvation? No, it don't keep Jesus from being a person that's connected to your salvation. Jesus did not come talking about himself. He came talking about his Father. His Father house, his Father kingdom, what his Father could do for you. And any initiate got to be able to understand how to bring that part out. God the Almighty is our Father. God the Almighty is the one who created the world. God the Almighty is the one that brought Melchizedek on the scene. God the Almighty is the one that bringing Jesus forth. And we have to see that. We have to see that. Jesus is a code name. I'll say it over and over again. Jesus is a code name. Jacob is a code name, and you know how to say, I'm going to change the name from Jacob to Israel. I talk about it in Genesis, and we need to understand that. Even Israel is a code name. And we need to know all these things. We're really going to understand this Bible, because it's very important to see all this. Now, let's go look up. Now, in this book, this story of Jonah, Jesus seen this story, and you need to read the whole 11th chapter of Jonah, because in there, and get this book, please get this book. because this lecture is going to hit on some specific things, but this book going to take you even more into it. It's going to take you more into it as well. I'm going to show you things that you didn't see by just reading the book to help enhance what you do see when you read this first chapter. History truly repeats itself, and you need to know that. And not only it repeats itself, it's telling you also ongoing where we're going at, where we are at this present moment. And we need to see that. Now, in this, we have to understand the story about Jonah. Jonah was in the nation of Assyria, and Jonah was a prophet of God. You're going to see that Jonah got on a boat, and later on he was captured and swallowed up by a fish. Okay, that's esoteric. That has to be translated. And in other lectures, if you study them, you'll see where I translate that and let you know what the boat is and what the fish is. And that way you can see that, and where you won't be deceived on what's really going on. Now, but what Jesus was trying to do is let them know that this is an evil generation. Now, who was Jesus talking about? If I say that this Bible was written for Americans in America, so the generation that Jesus was talking about is where? In America. The people that he was talking about when he said this is an evil generation, they seek a sign, is the people in America. America. America always seek a sign. What is the sign that they seek? One of the major signs is that they misunderstand the translation of the Bible, and they go to saying, well, Jesus is going to come, and the Son of Man is going to come. Don't say Jesus, say Son of Man. Son of Man is going to come, and we're going to be caught up in the air. Caught up in the cloud and meet the Lord in the air. Okay? And that's been literally seen as what happened. That have nothing to do with it. You have to break it down in other videos and tell you and show you. You need to understand this esoteric right. You need to understand the arts, Hebrew typology. You need to understand this stuff so you can move forward. Now, what Jesus wanted to do is show us that if we take the knowledge of Jonah and the area of Nineveh and compare it with a place in the future when a Son of Man is to come, of the Son of Man that Jesus was talking about, we're going to see these two nations, these two towns, these two areas, the cultural environment, the economic environment, the political environment, going to have extreme similarities. Now, if I say that Assyria at Jonah time was similar to our time right now in America, I must prove it. See, I can't just come and tell you something and if I can't prove it. See, this is the difference between someone just being there in front of you and someone telling you that they have a Melchizedek priesthood, the thought of Melchizedek came to them and called them. So if that person came to you and called you and brought you into that priesthood, you must come up with things, a knowledge totally different or surpass what they normally been getting. It's very important to know that. And that's what we're going to deal with. We're going to show you, and I'm going to show you in this lecture, how Assyria and America is crossing history. Similarities. America is walking in the history of Assyria at the time of Jonah. Now let's deal with it. Okay? I'm going to show you some comparisons. Assyria and Nineveh. America and Jacksonville, St. Augustine. Why did I pick Jacksonville, St. Augustine? Because Nineveh was the oldest city area of Assyria. The oldest city area of America is Jacksonville, St. Augustine. Pick it up now. Pick up on it. Think. Put on your thinking. Put thought in your life so you can see this now. Okay. Now, let's deal with it. Assyria was the most powerful nation in the world. We want to show you how America is repeating the history of Assyria and these events that he's telling them about in the nation of Assyria is going to occur in the nation of America. And you're going to see this. Watch it very carefully. Now, if I say it is a sign, then what it's supposed to be, just like Jonah time, that means I must show those signs in history. I must show those signs in the geographics. I must show you those signs. I must show you this stuff so you can see with your own mind and eyes how God is revealing this information to you. Now, let's deal with it, okay? In the nation of Assyria was the city of Nineveh, where Jonah came to. In the nation of America is the city of Jacksonville, St. Augustine, where the Son of Man must come to. And you're going to see this. Now, Assyria was the most powerful nation in the world at this time. America is the most powerful nation in the world. Assyria was a warring nation, more aggressive than its neighbors. America is a warring nation, more aggressive than what? More aggressive than China, more aggressive than Central South America, more aggressive than across the water European nations, etc., and more aggressive than the Canadian nation up there. It's the most aggressive nation right now in the world as a superpower. And we must see this. Now, Nineveh, let's deal with Nineveh also. Nineveh was a naval town. Jacksonville right now is a naval town. It have NAS Jax, it have Mayport, it used to have Cecil Field, and some more places. It's a large naval town. Okay, outside of Nineveh, have a city 20 miles outside of Nineveh called Cala. Okay, now let's deal with this. 20 miles outside of Jacksonville, St. Augustine area is a city called Callahan. What a coincidence. Oh, I forgot. There is no coincidence. Let's deal with it. Now, what else we got here? Okay. Nineveh was a cow town. What about Jacksonville? What is Jacksonville? What was Jacksonville all about? Jacksonville was called Cow Ford because it was a cow town in its earlier days. That's why they call it Cow Ford. Look it up. Now, what we must see now in this, and you're going to see it in the book breaks it down so well. The book got pictures on it. It shows Assyria, the boundaries of Assyria, and the boundaries of America. It shows Nineveh, that's in a peninsula-shaped area in Assyria, and on the north side of Nineveh is north side of the peninsula shape. On the northeast side of it is Nineveh, and on the northeast side of the peninsula shape of Florida is Jacksonville, St. Augustine, the oldest city area. And Nineveh is the oldest city area. See, what God wanted to do, and you're going to see it in this book, you need to get the book. What you're going to see is God want to show you that in the writing, the Nisha say this is the only sign. What was that saying? Is it the only sign? You got to understand the terminology. In other words, this is a main sign. If you don't get the rest of them, you should get this one. This is very important to know. Why is it very important to know? Because this prophecy is in our life right now, today. The prophecy is about us in America today. And that's why it's important for us to understand this prophecy. Jesus wanted us to know, the initiates wanted us to know, and they put this under Jesus so you can pay attention to this prophecy. This prophecy is no joke. You cannot learn the things of God by sitting back criticizing. You got to open your mind. You got to let thought operate in your mind. You got to bring your mind to an area what we call cosmic consciousness. You got to go inside yourself and check yourself and start questioning what you have learned right and what you have learned wrong. So you could develop that consciousness to go into this age of Aquarius with them blessings and all the other qualities that God going to give you, because you got to get your mind right. You got to get your mind right. And God will help you get all this other stuff right. Now we got to look at this now. Let's deal with it. In Luke 11:33, it's going to tell you, no man when he have lighted a candle, put it in a secret place. Understand a secret place. A secret place. Is America got things, secret places or secret orders or stuff? Yes. We have all kinds of secret orders in America. Man, they getting involved with this secret order, secret society, and some are going over in the satanic realm of it, and they're messing their life up because they want a better career, and they don't know that all they got to do is stay close to God, and they're going to get it, because some of them got to know if they understand their spot, they're going to know that they're going to get it at anyway. They may not get that one, but another one's going to come around, but they don't do that. They want to rush and do what they think they need to do, and Satan be done trapped them. And we cannot let Satan trap us. We got to keep moving forward in this thing. Now, let's see this. Now, it says, no man, when he have lighted a candle, put it in a secret place, neither under a bushel, but on a candlestick, that they which come in may see the light. Now, at this time, it's telling you about the secret order, it's telling you about the bushel, and it's telling you about the candlestick. Now, we know you got the bones and skulls, you got different Illuminati groups, and etc. in America. And we know that they do various practices, and et cetera, et cetera. So we know that some dark things have been shown that they do. Now, always remember, just because a person do some dark things, a lot of times they do a lot of light things too, so they could balance it, so you could see them as a good and not see their bad. And sometimes the bad overshadow the good, and we don't realize that. So we got to understand that. Now, it say a bushel, but it don't say a bushel of wheat, a bushel of barley, a bushel of anything. So if we want to find out, and this bushel is political, what do we do? And what word fit our time of human history to deal with bushel? Bush. So do we have a family or political environment or connection with Bush in our political process? Yes. We just had a president named Bush. And before that, we had a father president named Bush. So it's telling you that you got to get yourself right. Don't try to go and tie up with a society, a political party, a political environment unless you check it and make sure it's doing right. In other words, don't just go along with something because they say go along to be alone. Go along with something because it's there. No. You try to find out it's going in the direction of God. And if it's going in the direction of God, you help it. But if it ain't going in the direction of God, you bring up policies to change it. And this is what you have to see. Now, why is that so important? Because what I'm going to do, and I'm going to leave the book to show you a good part of this, because you need this. And this blackboard ain't going to cover as much as this book, this chapter in this book going to cover and show you. You need to see these things in here. You need to see these things that's so important for you to see right now. You need to see the secret orders. Even George Washington was a Freemason in one of the orders. Okay? And I'm not saying that this Masonic order is bad or something, but you need to know at this time, God is trying to say and show you that some things have gotten corrupt in these secret orders. He's trying to tell you some things have got corrupt in the political environment. And we need to see this. This is what Nietzsche is bringing the story out, and this is what you're going to see in here. You're going to see America and Assyria repeating the same history. You're going to even see borders, areas that shape alike in here. So you need to get the book so you can see this. And then while you're in the quiet of your home, you can read the book, and then you can click the lecture on, and you can understand better what's going on now. Let's take it a little bit deeper now. Let's go a little bit deeper. Now, if I say Assyria and America, and I'm showing identification marks, but there's much more. You can take 100 identification marks of Assyria and America, and all 100 of them are going to fit like a hand in the glove. They're going to fit right on. So you need to see this. They're going to fit hand in hand, tit for tat. And you're going to see this. Now, the reason this is important and what this has to do with this lecture is that before Assyria fell, Assyria had a great civil war. Let's understand this. It had a great civil war, and it had a world war with the nations that existed around it. And we need to read the history of Assyria, and we'll know. Now, what are we dealing with right now with all the deep state and etc.? We got the individuals focusing on Civil War and World War III now. Okay? Because China is kind of like pissed off about a trade embargo. Russia really don't like some things we doing. And we done had threats from Putin. And we done had threats when it comes to Hawaii area. the Pacific area are down there in the Pacific from China. And they building islands and building bases and etc. and telling America they could build what they want to build out there. In America, warships have been out there and Chinese warships have been out there. And we got to see what's going on. See, they ain't telling you but so much on the news because the news is controlled and manipulated. See, they ain't going to tell you what you need to know. They're going to tell you what the deep state and the rest of them want you to know. And you got to see this. You got to see this. You being manipulated, my people. You being manipulated. You going through what they call predictive programming, and you don't even know it. You don't even know it. And the Bible is there to open your eyes, to let you know that you need to see these things that's going on. You need to take Assyria and take America and look at the history of Assyria and look at the history of America before Assyria fell and see how you can compare it up. Let me tell you something, people. I picked 4 mayors in Jacksonville, Florida. 4 mayors. Make sure. Yes. 4 mayors. 3 mayors? Yeah, 4 mayors. And what I did, how did I pick these mayors? I knew this. Here, right here. So I went, I think Mayor Payton was the first one. I seen the similarity of Assyria and the history of Assyria and the one that controlled that territory in Nineveh. And I went and looked at the mayor that was going to be in the seat. He was running against a sheriff at the time. And then I sent Sister Corinthia to get more information in that area. And she went and got the information in that area. And what we found out that particular person had homosexual tendencies. So I went to find out, was that true? And I went on the sheriff website and he was talking about it. So I said right then, I said, yeah, brother, I love you. I know you're a brother, but this white boy finna beat you behind in this race. Why? Because it fit with the mythology. It fit up with the history repeating itself. After then, listen to me now. After then, they asked me, who did I think gonna win the race again? And I had a city councilor, I don't want to bring her name up because she was in the race, and she asked me, I heard about you, Armstrong, do you think I could win? And I said, only if you're a black man could you win this race because of the mythology. Okay? Because of the mythology. Because history was repeating itself, and these individuals was walking in the character of past event, past people, and they didn't even know it. They didn't even know it. But I knew it because I could see it, and the revelation was given to me. This is no joke, my people. This is no joke. You need to get into this stuff and start learning what thus said the Lord. Because what you have been learning, your individuals do not know anything about prophecies. You're dealing with a whole church environment that have no true knowledge of prophecies. And you need to wake up to this. Because the knowledge of this is going to give you your deliverance from these conditions that's going to occur. It is very important. Now, let's deal with this. Okay, let's go back to this. And after that mayor, this brother won. And after the brother won, I said he wasn't going to have 4 years. Then Lenny Carey came in after then, like I said. And I explained what kind of person he was going to be. And he went right in there. He's in there right now, getting ready to run a second term. Now, I haven't did the sacred geometry on him to know whether he'll have a second term. One of the historians, when they was talking about him, or that person that had carried his character, or he carrying that person's character, said that something about 2 years or 2 terms. I don't know whether 2 was about 2 years, 2 terms. They had a question mark, so they wasn't quite sure. So I couldn't just tie it in and say it was 2 years. Although individuals asked me, I said, I don't know, 2 years, 2 terms. Now, I see he done went over 2 years, so could it be 2 terms? I do not know, but I will check and let you know exactly will he have a second term. Now, why is this important? Because when that individual was in there, in the story, how the story or history of Assyria was, there was a civil war occurred before he left out of there. And They was going into a world war when that person was still in that seat. When that person was still in that seat. And we're at 2019 and he's still in that seat. Okay, we need to see this stuff, people. See, God is not joking. He wants you to understand the truth. He wants you to know that, hey, look, you cannot say no one told you. See, we got a responsibility. All of us got this responsibility. I used to bear this responsibility, and I used to repeat that thing all the time in Ezekiel. When he said, son of man, you got to take it to the wicked as well so as the righteous as well so as the wicked. Why was that so important? To keep that blood, so that their blood won't be on your hand. See, we as individuals, we got an obligation to humanity. We got an obligation to give the people the truthism. We're supposed to do that. And if we sit down and don't sponsor organizations like Crossroad to get this truth out, and so the people could have this truth, then we're putting those people's blood on our hands. See, this is not just my job. I keep telling y'all, God got me coming before you because you the ones in prophecy. You the one are the chosen peoples of God. You the one are the people that God wants to know these truthism. I can't wear you. I got to wear myself. And you got to wear yourself. So you got to be who you are. And when you can't do certain things one way, do it another way. God don't expect you to get out and do what I do right now. This is my job to do. But he expects you to do what little you can do, what you can do. And a lot could do a lot more than they've been putting on to do. Because some of them sit on the couch and they get this information and they don't go it. It's like, oh, I got this truthism and good. But no. I'm telling you what God have told me to share with you. We have those people blood on our hand when we refuse to tell people or introduce people to these truths that God has given you. And this is one right here that we got to give the masses of the people this information. That's why this organization, this ministry, have to become a ministry on the road. Teaching people and opening people's mind and letting them know these truthism. And it needs people, it needs soldiers, it needs people, it needs individuals to back this organization to get it where it needs to get to. Okay? So the blood of those people will not be on our hand. And that's very important. So I'm calling you individuals who believe in this ministry, believe in God, the Almighty God. Sometimes you'll hear me call the Messiah. You'll hear me call him Jesus. Some people, they'll come back with Yahshua, and they'll come with different names. And I must say this to you, to individuals. These names are code names. These names are code names. These names that man brought forth. So if you got a young Christian in there or a Christian in there and they don't know about Jah or they don't know about Yahshua, and you hear me say Jesus, I'm saying that to let them know I'm talking about that same person that you are talking about. And they need to know that. But you cannot, they're sheep. You can't take a sheep when one sheep doesn't learn how to go to the cross or go to the water hole or go get this food. You can't get mad at the other sheep because the other sheep ain't learned how to do it like you did it yet. So we got to be very careful how we push things on people, because I'm here to feed you the knowledge of the eternal Father through the priesthood of Melchizedek, which is the priesthood of Thor, which is the priesthood of Hermes, so you can understand. Now, Melchizedek is the biblical way to show you Thor. Now, let's go. Now, this is very important, and I want to let you know this other stuff, but I want to get into this over here before I go into matching matching what we call counting the stars, doing the arts on this, so you can see this from the arts point of view. Now, at this time, we got many things we're dealing with that's leading up to this great civil war in World War III. We got things that's happening, and we need to know that. Also, you need to understand about the increase of Jacob, and I throw that in there because I don't want to overlook that. The increase of Jacob. You look at Genesis 32:28, the power with God and with man. And you're going to have, and has prevailed. What is this? This is the time when Jacob, and I won't skip around, but this is the time when Jacob was learning how to get blessings from God. And he was getting blessings from thought. And the Lord, God, Melchizedek. And this needs to be known so you can learn how to get your blessings. Okay? Because I don't want to leave that out. Now, in this, let's go back to this part. In this predictive programming, that we have, it's telling us that someone's going to come out the sky and going to deliver us and blah, 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 blah. And it's been written literally in the Bible. Okay? In that same Bible, it tells you not about somebody coming out of the sky, and that the Son of Man will come, or the Messiah, the Prince, will come, and he's going to come at a certain time. And it also tells you in Revelation, for the kingdom of this world is going to become the kingdom of our Lord and of his Christ. That means we're going to be right here, not taken up somewhere else. In that same book, you're going to see both scenarios. Okay? Now, why is this predicting programming is very important for you to understand while I'm showing you this here, the information on Assyria and America, the comparison of Assyria and America. The reason is very important because if you're not taught this the right way and not taught what predictive programming is, you could learn stuff and it could seem like it's making sense, but it's totally away from God. And the peoples on that highest level that I tell you about in the last two lectures, them highly intelligent ones, they could manipulate things and you'll think one way and it's another way. So we're trying to get you in this environment where you could see through history here, you can see Assyria and America, and you can see through history, America is repeating the history of Assyria before Assyria failed. And that's why it's important to you to know this, because right now is the timing that this knowledge is talking about. 2019, 2020. And you need to see this prophecy and understand it. Now, why I'm talking about predictive programming? Because, let's deal with it. When the event occurred, the public have softened. Now under this, the public have softened up. See what they want to do, and therefore passively accept it rather than offering resistance or opposition. Now, I told you what it's about, what this is about. Now, in our time, we hear a lot of different things. And you need to see this. You need to see these things, because I have to put these things along with this so you can understand a lot of this more better. Okay, if you go back and you see a movie, and I have to put Donald Trump in here because he's the president of the United States right now. If you go back and you see a movie, you'll see CBS had a movie in 1958 called Trackdown. And it was the series 130. And what was it? The end of the world. Trump wall. Now, the end of the world, Trump wall. Now, this was written back in 1958, before Donald Trump had got to be president of the United States. Now, also, this here was written over 400 years ago, before Bush became the president of the United States. Okay? I want you to see this stuff because you got to understand what's going on. Now, in this Bible, it could do two things. This Bible could save you, free you, or it can enslave you. You got to understand that. Now, we have to be able to look in between all this stuff that's going on to understand where we need to be at this time and what moves we need to make at this time as we see Assyria and America unfold itself. And we see America unfold itself in Assyria. Now, in the knowledge of Jonah in Assyria, Assyria failed and Nineveh in the historical knowledge of it. But in the story of Jonah in Nineveh, Nineveh did not fall in the story. Why it didn't fall in the story? Because it's trying to tell you something. It's trying to show something to you. And if you let Nineveh fall, you're going to be caught up under the predictive programming of what? The deep state. And who is that? The secret control policies. Individuals up high controlling the policies. That's why the scripture said, no man, when he have light of a candle, put it in a secret place, neither on the bushel, but on a candlestick, that they which come in may see the light. You cannot hide your light. You cannot hide. You got to open up and let people know these truthisms, that they could be able to walk in these truthisms and that they'll be able to do God's will. So the church, the black church and the white church, got to learn to walk in these truthisms so they could do God's perfect will, so God people could be ready when these events try to bring and manifest themselves. They want to manifest you a civil war. They're going to want to manifest you martial law. You got to round this stuff off. You got to stop a great civil war from happening. That's why he put in there, should we destroy Nineveh? Should I destroy Nineveh? Should I destroy Nineveh? See, God don't want to destroy America. God don't want to bring these things forth. He wants America to correct itself. He wants America to do right, that these things don't happen. But if America refuses to do the will of God, with all these abortions that they doing, with all this unfair benefits they ain't going toward the suffering people, but they giving tax breaks and everything else to the aristocrats, are the ones that definitely don't need it, because they got the deep state and they got secret control of the policies. And we got to wake up to this. This lecture needs to be understood the right way. I can't tell you what's so much in the book, but I could bring out the rest of it. That's why you need the book, The Judgment of America, by Louis Jerome Armstrong, and you need this lecture, The Great Civil War and World War III in America, 2019 to 2020. You need it, my people. You need it. And you need to get that book in everybody's hand you probably will get it in. And it's a phone number there where you could get this book so you can start learning these truthisms, so you can understand what God is about to do with America. Now we could either let them do what they do and it could fall like it did in the past, or we could stand up like people, like true patriots. And we could stand up and keep America in the right way it's supposed to be. And we need to see this. We need to understand this. Americans need to watch out for these individuals who manipulate this country, because they will cut off the economy so that they will draw money out of the stock market. They'll crash your economy. They'll make your nation go on a tailspin. And then next thing you know, you're going to need food and clothing and shelter. And they'll make the food where you ain't got enough food and etc. And they'll build that environment where you have chaos. And they will create the chaos. And they'll give you the order out of chaos. You need to see this, because this is the time that these policies gonna cause problems to occur. And we need to see what's going on. Now, why do I jump on this movie here? After I give this here, why do I jump on this movie? Because in 1958, there was a movie, okay? There was a movie, and it was a cowboy movie. It was a cowboy movie. And it dealt with the end of the world, Trump wall. And they're gonna talk about Trump. A man named Trump to come into the city, and he's gonna make it think like he could do magical thing, and he's gonna whoosh, disappear right there on the wagon, etc. And you're gonna just watch it. Go on the net and hear him talk about it, watch it. You're gonna see these things gonna be showing you how they use predictive programming through the television set and the media in order to manipulate things to make you think that, okay, this was prophecy for him to be here, and etc. Truly, it was prophecy for him to be there. But all this other stuff they added in too, it was tricky dick prophecies too. Added in there stuff. And you need to know that. And you got Trump talking about the wall back in the movie in 1958. Then you got another one where Trump got a book out. In America We Desire. You can either look at them talk about that book. And in that book, he predicts certain things. Saying that, see the attack, and then you're talking about after the 9/11 attack. See the attack was possible, see the attack very possibly could have been stopped. We need real leadership and vision. Real leadership and vision. Showing you that he got in the book where he talked about Osama bin Laden before Osama bin Laden was ever talked about. He talked about all these things, that predictive programming, this stuff already been programmed, and they already said that Donald Trump's uncle was a scientist that the government used to take Tesla time traveling machine, knowledge of it, and to see do it really work. Okay. I don't put a lot of emphasis on that alone. I don't do that because Donald Trump was written in the Bible over 400 years ago. So I'm not going with just Tesla thing. I'm going with, hey, there's been some manipulation. There's been some things happening, and the mass of the people don't understand what's happening. And there's been some predictive programming going on. We got to know whether or not God was doing this or man was doing this. Although part of it is right in our Holy Bible. We need to understand these things. It's very important to understand these things. And we got to see the movie. We got also in the movie Back to the Future. It was released in November 1989. See, all these things was coming out and Hollywood was showing you. See, I always say, they'll take the truth and they'll put it right in your face. And you can't say that they did not tell you the truth. See, you got to come up to par. You got to come up to that consciousness level of thought so you can see this stuff and know what they're really doing to you. You've been programmed, but you don't even know how deep it is. That's why you see Donald Trump will have the sheep on his commercial. You have this sheep walking beside him, talking about the cushion and how comfortable the rooms are on that commercial, but he has a sheep with a one on it. It's trying to tell you something. And you need to know where it's coming from. Now, the reason I'm trying to show you all this, along with the knowledge in the book, along with Assyria and Nineveh, Jacksonville, St. Augustine, the events that's happening in America right now, is because you are right at the door. And if you do not wake up, they're going to pass policies. They're going to have a lot of black and white in the FEMA camps. They're going to take your money from you and give you another currency. Okay? You got to wake up to what's going on. They're going to take your nation from you if you don't hurry up and wake up to what's truly going on. They're going to give you what you don't want to have. And that's a civil war and a world war. Why was this world war so important to understand? And why was the civil war You need to know about it because in Assyria, right before Assyria fell, what was happening? It had got so corrupt internally, politically, economically. These greedy people done took this and took that. Everybody was thinking about themselves, and these politicians doing what they want to do, aristocrats doing what they want to do, getting this and getting that. And the people were suffering. The people didn't have a lot. And they were making the environment and the condition unbearable. Just like they're doing right now with no raises in America. Where people who made $20-something, $30-something an hour is working several jobs where they're making $10 and $8 an hour. And not being able to have what we call this American dream. We need to understand this thing because it's getting harder and harder and harder, and they trying to tell you this is the best it is. This is not the best it is. They are programming you to take you into that type of way so they can put you back in a system of chattel slavery, and you don't even see it. Come on. You're going from wage slave to the condition of chattel slavery. Although you're going to be operating on the wage slave, you're going to be in the area of chattel slavery because you ain't going to have enough to just take care of your house payment or your rent, a little bit of food, and etc. But you won't have no money like you used to have, Americans used to have, where they could put something back for their family, where they could be able to have that dream, that American dream that they love to have. See, they're trying to cut that off from you. They're trying to cut that off from you. And you cannot let these things occur in your life. You got to do what it takes to keep your family happy. And we need to see this. See, they're dealing with what we call magic. And you need to understand, what is this word magic all about? Magic is simply is science not understood. That's all magic is. That's all magic is. Don't let nobody come tell you, whoa, that was like this and it made that happen. And whoa, look how that happened. It's a science to it. Well, it's a trickery science of another science, but it's science. You got the dark art science as well. With things we're going to do, move, and do all this other stuff as well. But magic is simply science not understood. And when you come into God the right way, there is no science that cannot be understood. The knowledge is in God Almighty. And we need to know that. And thought is the one that God has put control of the magical things, of the books and the writings, of all the other things. He's known as the chief netter, where he have the knowledge of the cosmic records, the knowledge of God, where he could reveal things that normal people cannot understand or know about. And we need to see this. Now, in this, I put something up we had on the other lecture that deal with the conditions. The conditions in America at this time. Another lecture I did on the myth of Joseph that deal with the chart of 21 years. And those last years, I put that on here because you'll see that it deal with the cow terrorist war. And 2018 was a good year. 2019 is going to be a bad year. 2020 is going to be a grief bad year. And this chart on this area deal with economy and war, and that's what we finna face. A crisis in economics, a crisis in war, and we need to know what's going on. Whether it's Civil War or World War III, we need to know what's going to be taking place at this particular time of human history, because the prophecies points it out. Now, I'm going to get into something that deals with the sacred geometry to show you that through sacred geometry, the counting of the stars, you're going to see this occur. Now, you got to go back, travel back. You're going back into Abraham time, when God told him to count the stars. And I want you to see something, because I want you to see a time of the Bacon Rebellion in counting the stars. And I want you to see a time of the Civil War, etc. Now, at that time, when he told him to count the stars, God showed Abraham 400 years of time that these peoples were going to be in America, and they're going to be afflicted. The time started in 1619. Okay, now, how did that tie in with the Great Civil War and World War III? I'm going to show you because you're going to come right into that time. Right into that time. Now, in this, that 400 years from 1619 to, now we're going to look at it two ways. I need to take you to the 360 days a year because this is part of that prophecy to take you to this other level. Most people look at 1619 to 2019, 400 years of 365.25. I need to take you from 1619 to October the 30th, 2013, which take you with the 360 days a year prophecy, because they're going to take you to another level now. Now, what you're going to see is that you're going to see these events going to occur. Right here is 1965 when we had 1865 when we had a civil war. I want you to see this very carefully. Now, in the counting of the stars, and what does this mean? Where did this whole thing came from? It came from Genesis 15:5. And what happened? God said unto Abraham that know for sure that thy seed will be a stranger in the land that is not there. They shall be misused, afflicted, and abused for 400 years. Will they serve that nation? But afterward they come out with great substance. You're going to say that in that chapter. Also, you're going to tell him how to count the stars. He's going to say in Genesis 15:5, look down toward heaven and tell the stars if thou be able to number them. So shall thy seed be. Now, most people who read this, who don't know sacred geometry, they have the tendency to look in the sky and see the sky, see the stars in the sky. But science say that in a good day, you can only see about 5,000 stars. Now, we know that God's chosen seed is more than 5,000 people. So it ain't talking about that. It's talking about sacred geometry. It's talking about the arts, numerology. It's talking about the golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequence, and all this. These are parts of the arts. What it says. Magic is science not understood, taking you into the science that you could see, magically, you could see these events that we're talking about over here occur. And what is it? Because, like I say, this book is about the United States of America. Now, in 1619, we're going to see that this started because August the 1st, 1619, they have assembly to start their first house, and they start the first political body in North America. And what they did at that date, they passed a law to afflict the indentured servants / slave for punishment for things that they considered they did and they need to be punished for. Now, that was the beginning of that prophecy of Abraham, that 400-year prophecy. That prophecy started August the 1st, 1619. They carried the punishment out several days later on that Saturday. I think that's when the last punishment was taken out, was done. Now, what we're going to see is that we go around here, we're going to see right here in 1865 a civil war. Okay, you're going to see a civil war. If you follow this line up, it's going to take you through several wars. This was a civil war around 1865, a little before 1865, part of 1865, Civil War. Over here where this next one is, this where your next point is, in 1915, you had World War I, okay? Here, you're going to have another war shortly after then. You're going to have World War II, and you're also going to have the Korean War. The Korean War and the Vietnam War was in the same area, and these things hit this. This war here, this show you two, and this show you one here. And you got in between that time, you're going to have World War I, and you're going to have the Korean War, and you're going to have the Vietnam War. Okay. Now, up here, you're at our time in 2013. 2013, Obama was in power, and what are you having? You're having, from this time, you're going to have a characteristic of a nation, what they call the deep state, trying to push policies without the people's approval or without the people knowing what's going on. It's going to be a manipulation in the area of predictive programming. They're trying to get you to accept something. They're trying to get you to accept that you need the government or you need this deep state in order to bail you out of this condition that you are in, because if you don't have this deep state, you're going to be going into chaos with Civil War and World War III at. And we know that they are showing you on the television where China and America are having this trade war. So they're building you up on the television with this thought of chaos. A thought of chaos. When the scripture is trying to say to you that God wants you to overcome this chaotic environment. So he wants to show you Assyria and America and what you need to do to avoid a civil war and world war in the area that was like Assyria, which is modern day America. And what they are doing, they are programming you for the war. Because they want the war. They want the war, because if they do the war, they're going to try to put you back into a voluntary condition of slavery. And I don't mean slavery like they show there. It's like when let me tell you something. When you go to work and all your money that you got to cover your rent or your mortgage, all the money you got to cover your food, your inflated food bills, and your furniture, your car payment, your insurance, all the money you got to pay your car payment, got to pay your things for your kids, and ain't no longer much college tuitions in it like it have been. And you got this, gonna be that, doing all this, and now what you got is a situation where after you done spent all of it out, and at the end of the month, you look back and you got very little saving. That means you are living paycheck for paycheck. It's a sense of slavery. Because think about the slaves. The slaves, all they can do, they already be in the master's chamber, so the master had to take care of them in the chamber, but they had them working from sun up to sundown. Ain't no sun in the morning, ain't no sun in the evening. But what they're doing now, they got you working full-time and part-time jobs, so ain't no sun in the morning and ain't no sun in the evening, and you paying out everything you got. And then if your kids get into any trouble and get into anything and you got to pay out some extra and you got to go take a loan, you enslaved to the system. And you must understand this. They're programming you to be enslaved to a system, because what is it saying? It softened these things up, and therefore passively you accepting it rather than offering resistance of opposition to the lifestyle in which they have given you. See, they carry the cost of things up, but the labor cost is dropping. It's going diminishing. And they putting you in a hellish condition. And they trying to create the chaos by using the television to show you a school shooting over here, a school shooting over there, a robbery over there, a killing over there. But they ain't showing you all these good places that's happening where ain't no killing at, all these good places happening where ain't no school shooting at, and all the other good things happening, because the majority of the good things are 99.5%, and the majority of the bad things is only 0.5%. But the television, through these individuals controlling it, is putting you in the position where you think the 5% is the 95%, and the 95% is the 5%. As above, so below. Corresponding. And they're dealing with your mind. And you sit back and just letting it go passive. So when they run something like Donald Trump or was going to be president or talked about be president on The Simpsons, you think, oh, you know, you're being passive. You accepting stuff rather than offering resistance or opposition. Why is this like this? How did that happen? What did they do to make that occur? You ain't fighting it. You ain't trying to know. And God wants you to know these truthisms that you could get yourself and your family out of this condition, because we're going in the age of Aquarius, and God is not going to let the deception of Pisces pull you back. So you might as well do your job. And that's what's going on. Because we got to see this now. Because once you see this, you see if you got a civil war here, you should have a civil war there if you follow their idea. See, they changing time on you. You got to understand this. What is this thing in Revelation? They trying to do it's in Daniel. Daniel 7:24. Think to change time and laws. See, they practicing this practice on you so you could accept this stuff so they could come with a policy. See, in corresponding, you got law, and then you got this policy. You got this here. There you go. In here, you got to see this. Let's go with in the 7 Hermetic principles. You got to see this when they deal with correspondence. You need to understand this. When you're dealing with correspondence, you got laws and phenomena. See, what they'll do, they'll create a phenomena. Or they'll aid the phenomena. Or when you rally against them, they'll help push the phenomena, and then they'll come with a law behind it. That way they got control of you with whatever you do. Whether you're doing it against them or with them, they're going to always control things because they're dealing with correspondence. As above, so below. They're using the arts on you, my people. They're using the arts on you. And you need to understand this. Let's deal with this. See, now, because when you get to 2013, what's going to happen in the counting of the stars, because they want to change the time, they want it to keep on going just like this. They want it to keep going like this, okay? So you don't realize that this star is out, so you got to count the next star that's over here, but they don't want society to know that these are the arts that they're using. So what they want to do, they want to be able to change the time and let this run on again like this here. And that way you're going to be caught up in the same thing that you was in the last 400 years. And God don't want that. What it is that this star got a dial to it. And what you're going to see is where this started in 1619 and this ended in 2019. This is going to start in 2013, but before it starts, it's a shift. It's a shift. It's like a key, a star key. It's a shift. And that shift is that the events that was here at this time, the events that was here, which is down here, these events here and here, this event here and this event. What happened down here when you had a civil war? 7 years before 1968, you had the beginning of the separation, getting ready, preparing for the Civil War. See, this time in 1858 and this time, 7 years from 2013, 2020, is similar. It's similar. And we need to know that. That means that as this was going into it, this part here, and this part preparing for a civil war here, and this preparing for a civil war is the same time. So what is this time right here? next 7 years later, 2019 to 2020. There you go, right here. And you got to know how to count the stars. You got to know the arts, people. So that means that if this time is here, and this is where we at right now, we move it over here, and this time got a shift. Now you need to follow me closer now. You need to see this. This time got a shift because this star don't start its next cycle with 2013 events of that energy from that. It start the next cycle from this point here with the energy. So that means that what happened in this time here going to happen in this time, but it's going to be shifted to this time. Follow me, because this is not an easy one to explain. Now, what is this all about? that means that this 7 years after 2013 is 2020. So you're talking about 2019, 2020, which is the time we're living in right now, 2019, 2020. And what would that show you? That will show you that preparing for that civil war, but not only that will show you preparing for that civil war, that will take you to the Bacon Rebellion energy. Listen to me now. The Bacon Rebellion, because it's shifting this time back over this way, and what you see the Bacon Rebellion. Okay, now, what was the Bacon Rebellion all about? The planters wanted to control all the land, all everything. They was the aristocrats that was from Europe. They owned the land, the crown king and his people were getting all the land to the elite, and they weren't getting their fair share of land. Some of these individuals had became freedmen from slavery. Some of them were freedmen from indentured servants were freedmen. They done worked their 3 to 7 years and stuff like that, and they wanted to have a piece of the American dream. They wanted to have a piece of this dream. So what was happening? They weren't giving them the land, etc. So Bacon, they think Bacon, he was an aristocrat, so he brought this mob along the way, or this little army along the way, and they went and burnt down the place in Virginia, the political environment, and they said, hey, we ain't going for this shit. Okay? The same thing, in the same attitude, back over here in 1858 that the people had. And they wasn't going for the United States being any kind of way. So the South broke away from the North. So the North wanted to bring them back together again. And right now, they're talking about leaving the America. Different states want to secede from America. And you got the deep state telling them, we ain't gonna let that happen, because the deep state, people behind the deep state, these aristocrats that is at that top level, they're controlling the whole environment. And we got to see this. Now, these things are important, and we're going to go through this another day, and we're going to cover more ground. But you need to know this. You need to know where we at this different time, at this time of human history. You need to know that they're trying to bring about a civil war and a world war, and they manipulated it to occur. And they want to do that because they don't want a Nathan Bacon thing where you come against these aristocrats, the top 1%. They don't want the people to come against them. They want you to think this other stuff, this stuff that your mind need to be on, all this stuff happening in your community and all this stuff. When all this stuff could be straightened out, all you got to do is get them people out of there who manipulate, secretly controlling the policy and manipulating our political structure. And you need to see this, because we don't have to go into war. All we got to do is change the minds of the people and change the way our political structure is running, and we could keep that war from happening. We don't have to have that civil war. See, they want to take you into a civil war environment, and they want to bring the racial strife and all that other stuff instead of the Nathan Rebellion energy. We're saying that the poor people's and others got together, poor blacks and whites got together who wanted to have something, and they were striving to have that land and that productivity that they want to have. And Nathaniel Bacon seen this, and he moved with it and acted with it against the system. And before Nathaniel Bacon died, they was making things better for them. But the ones at the top don't want that. They want to keep you subservient to them. They want to keep you away from the American dream. And because of that, we're in this condition. And we got to come out of this condition. So you need to be able to take this book, Judgment of America, and learn this first chapter about Assyria in America so you can come out of that condition. This is what we need to know. And we need to move forward. Now, this was one of those lectures that you have to put yourself into it. You got to see what's really going on. You got to go and look at this and check me. Get the book, get the information, and check me. Sometime when you get it and you go deeper, you're going to find out more similarities in what I'm bringing up, because it's a lot more in that book that you need to see. You need to know that God don't want America to fall. But if we don't straighten this mess out, America gonna fall just like Assyria and Nineveh. And this is what's gonna happen. And I must show you and tell you, this is not God's plan for America, but if you don't step up to the plate and do the things you're supposed to do, this is what you're gonna see. And when you see this, your family gonna suffer. Your family gonna suffer. The story of Nineveh and the story of Jonah is two stories that go just alike. You have to see it. You need food storage. You need to be able to take care of your family. You need to be able to do the things. And that's why I tell and teach about the great Exodus. Because the great Exodus is part of the scripture, part of the prophecy, so America, Judah, could survive. And Judah will not be destroyed. And so Judah could set itself up in Carolina, in Georgia, in Florida. So the rest of Israel could come in its proper place. And then after it build that location and be able to keep them people from dealing with going through a civil war or a world war. And those black folks and white folks that move in that location, those ones that in that location, they will protect each other while all that chaos going outside in them other states. See, we got to quit being and letting them program us. It's predictive programming. They are programming you on television. They're programming you, getting you ready for these things that they trying to set up for you to walk in when that's not what God wants you to be and wants you to be of. He wants you to receive those great substance. That's knowledge, understanding, and the wealth. A fair check, a fair payroll, a fair way to live the American dream in America. God's going to give you that dream. God's going to give you that dream. You're going to be able to live the American dream. You're going to be able to come up with the great substance that's necessary to move your family forward. See, God's going to make sure that happens. And ain't no devil in hell going to deter that. Neither none of the manipulation and time that they come up with going to cause God to keep you from getting what you're supposed to have. God's going to make sure you get it. And I'm here to tell you that God wants you to have it. And it's for you to receive his blessing and to escape from this condition in which they're doing to your minds and your life and making you think that this is the only way out, what they got, and you think that my paycheck can't be no better at this time because of the state of the economy. You know, one accountant told me, say, you want to correct this? It's very simple. And I said, what? Just start the books from zero. I said, what? From zero? Yeah, you can start from zero. Start the books from zero. Start it all over again. And you could straighten this out right like that. But no, the deep state don't want you to do that. Because what did they do? Let's deal with this. During the time when you had this housing crisis, some of these companies, mortgage companies, they failed. They went bankrupt. They could have gave these houses to the people who hold the mortgages because they went bankrupt. Some of them didn't even know and have no connection with these mortgage companies, etc. Some European countries was holding the notes and all this, but what did they do? They tricked you. They made you think the crisis was so that this thing got to be this way. They show you it can't be no other way. That's what the deep state, that secret control policies is doing. And through Obama and Bush, what did they do? They came in and took your house. Banks, lending institutions, they gave them to them, gave them the right to control them, and they took your house. Because you could not believe that that house belonged to you, a possibility that God could have blessed you like that, and you got, taken. God don't want that to be no more. And everything was done electronically. Them people shouldn't have took your house, but they took your house. And right now, you paying for another, or you took a mortgage out to pay for that, which that already belonged to you. But am I really supposed to be telling you this? Woo! Come on, wisdom people. Look at what time it is. Y'all can tell each other what I'm telling you on that one. We can't let this stuff no longer happen, so we cannot live this American dream that we're supposed to live. Make America new again is not making America from the time of slavery. Let's take it back to the Bacon Rebellion. To make sure that this deep state control is not in our life, and we be able to be planners that we need to be owners that we need to be, controlling the finance that we need to control, controlling the political atmosphere that we need to control, controlling our state, controlling our environment, that we can live this American dream. Because God wants us to live the American dream. And we need to see this. Now I'm closing this. And all I want to say to you all is pay attention to this lecture. Look at this lecture. Check me. Get the book so you can see how Assyria, America is repeating the history of Assyria. And how we are at that point in Assyria history, like we're at that point in American history, where Assyria was going to fall. And what caused it? Central Asia, which is part of China and the Soviet Union. And what is we dealing with now? China and the Soviet Union. So we got to see these things. And I like to say this: hold your head up. God going to give you what belongs to you. You're going to receive your great substance and all of the above. And God assure you of that. And let's learn to believe in the eternal God Almighty. And I say that in these loving words. I love you. Amen.